We had should we call it a horror story? On a development recent, well, it's not that recent, but why don't we talk about that, about the pool and clubhouse in Vineyard, Utah, and something to avoid when you're cooperating with other builders and or investors. When do you want to take that?
So that was more of a master plan community. Mm-hmm. So several builders were in here. We had 2 projects in, I guess, the north end of this.
Master community.
Master community.
Yes.
And we were tied to their clubhouse. They were going to build a clubhouse. The developer was.
So they're a master HOA that we have to abide by. But by building within our own sub HOA, we had access to whatever it was they were going to build.
Their pool, their clubhouse, their trails, their pickleball courts, their tennis courts, all of that. Mm-hmm. We finished this project, and we were told, if I remember correctly, it was like 6 months later this clubhouse was supposed to be done.
Yeah.
Literally, it was like 2.5 years later, maybe, that it ended up being done. Yeah. So we had tenants that were expecting to have amenities that had nothing, but were still paying an HOA fee.
Yeah,
which got them very upset.
They were expecting a nice clubhouse because that's what was being talked about, and so that's what we talked about. And so from this story, it's important to understand, okay, what do you have control over? You're being told one thing, but things can happen. And if it's out of your control, you need to be careful on what you're promising or what you're saying to your investors and the tenants. Bottom
line is, don't advertise amenities to your tenants in your lease up that you don't have control over, right? Because that's what we're going to have a clubhouse pool. That's a hard conversation for the property manager to have, when lease renewal comes. Hey, you want to renew your lease? Well, I did, but I don't have any of this stuff that you promised.
And I paid for it.
And you paid for it. Ugh, gross. And you have no way to facilitate that or make that go faster because it's some other builder that doesn't care. So I think we learned that we don't advertise. We don't assume that somebody's just going to come in and complete this. And ideally, too, those core amenities that you really have to have, whatever you decide those to be, you have to have control over them. Otherwise, you might consider not doing that deal.